Here we go again. This question was asked by one of your great viewers of me, okay? One of you guys asked me this question. And by the way, remember what I told you? We are getting practical. I'll be making videos about practical things. You have this amount of money. If you invest here and here compared to that, which one gives you better value for your money? And by the way, if you have any question, put it on the comment section. That's why I'm picking it and making a video out of that so that everyone can actually benefit out of it. And this is Good Joseph in case you're watching me for the first time. And thank you for guys wishing me congratulations for me winning as the financial coach of the year. Anyway, glad to see you. By the way, you're watching my videos and you have not subscribed, or you don't like, you've never liked my video, go ahead and hit that subscription button. Why? So that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new good video. And go ahead and hit that like button so that this video can as well suggested to many people. And put your comment on the comment section in form of a question if you have any. All right. And by the way, ask me that complicated question. Let's get into the business now. Here we are. You have yourself 5 million and you are caught in between. Should I go ahead and invest in a money market fund, or should I take that 7 million, rather not 5 million? Should I get that 7 million, put it in a money market fund, or should I take that money, put it in rentals? Which one gives me value for money? Where am I getting more and such kind of things? Because I told you guys at all the time, keep your money where your mouth is, and vice versa is also true. Keep your money wherever your mouth is, or keep your mouth where your money is. That is it. Let's get into the business now. Here you are. The budget is actually 7 million. This question I was asked by a very young individual at 33. He has that amount of money, so he was actually caught in between those two things. Okay, now should you go ahead and do some rentals? Okay, rentals, that's what we're being about, real estate, or should you go ahead and put this money into a money market fund? So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna be subjective or objective or whatever. I'm just gonna give you neutral information. It's you to make a decision, but I'm gonna give you something at the end of the day, at the end of this particular video. Now here you are. Now the question is, you do not have a land to actually do the rentals. Okay, now what happens is, first of all, you start by doing what? Purchasing. You start by purchasing a what? You purchase a land. Okay, and for this case, of course, let's give it a budget of approximately say 2 million. Okay, 2 million, so that we get ourselves a quite of a good place whereby you can actually do the rentals, because you cannot go ahead and build these rentals in the remote areas and the up country and what have you. Kenya, with 2 million, by the way, for those who are not Kenyan, 7 million is equivalent to 70,000 USD, 70,000 US dollars. Okay, or let's say 6,500 or thereabout. That is what is equivalent to this amount of money. Now here we are. 2 million approximately, this is like 20,000 US dollars, 20,000, yeah, 20,000 US dollars. Okay, go ahead and purchase a parcel of land. By the way, in Kenya, this one won't get you like a premium place like in, maybe let's say in cities or whatever. Gonna get you a little bit far from the cities, a little bit, not just far, but maybe let's talk about 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers or something of sort. That is what gonna give you with that amount of money. Okay, because when you talk about those prime areas, you are talking about ups of 10 million and what have you. That's like 100,000 US dollars. Okay, now you get yourself the 2 million, get yourself a parcel of land, and for this matter, I'm talking about the 50 by 100. That's quite of a popular dimension in Kenya. This is 50 and this is 100. That is what you get. This is like 33 meters by 33 meters by 20 by 17 or 20 something meters, around something of sort. That's what we call is 50 feet by 100 feet. That's what we call 50 by 100. That's what goes for that particular price. Now let's go ahead and calculate and ask ourselves, we are remaining with 5 million. That is the money we have, and see how much this can actually do for us. For those who have been in construction industry, I personally, I have been into it for over 4 years, and if you want to believe it, go to my oldest videos. You're gonna see me there in the industry of the real estate. Okay, of course I also do have professionals whom I contact before making this kind of videos. Okay, 5 million will build you. By the way, first of all, forget about building a story building. That is not gonna work here. This money is way less, so you cannot do you a story building here. We're gonna do a simple flat roof in this particular place. Kenyans know what I'm talking about. Where you're gonna build some houses on this end and this end, and this gonna be sort of can be a parking lot, can be where you hang your hanging lines and what have you. Guys, you can actually see a typical picture. This 5 million in Kenya, depends on which town you're coming from, approximately will build you like stock of at most will build you 7 units of 1 bedroom. So maybe let's say at this side you get yourself, or maybe let's say 6 units of 1 bedroom and maybe probably a studio or a bed sitter. That's what we call it here in Kenya. So okay, you're gonna have yourself some several units this side and other units on several sides this side. So this one gonna give you say 6 units of 1B. Again, it depends. There's some places where it will give you only 5, 4 on this side and maybe some few on the other side, or maybe, you get what I'm saying? So give you 6 units. For this case, I'm just saying 6 units of 1 bedroom and 1 unit of what? A studio, or commonly known as a bed sitter. And that particular amount of money, so what we do, you actually check out on how much you used to buy that parcel of land. It tells you how much you're gonna rent for those units. There is no way you can buy a parcel of land worth 1.5 million and expect to rent those houses, maybe those 1 bedrooms at around 12,000, 10,000. You cannot do that one. You cannot have. It's very hard. But when you go to the likes of a 2 million ish and something of sort, probably you're gonna rent that house, maybe let's talk about approximately let's give it at 10k. Okay, let's give it at 10k. We can even give it at 12,000, by the way, but I highly doubt whether it will reach 12,000, but let's just give it 12,000. Here you are, you have 6 units of 12,000, 6 units of 1B, which is equivalent to 12,000 as piece, and then you have 1 unit of bed sitter. Let's give it, say, at around 7,000. Okay, now, so we have, let's go step by step. So at the end of the day, we have 12,000 multiplied 12,000 multiplied by 6, which gives us what? Gives us 72,000, and then we have the 7,000, so it gives us 79,000. Okay, 79,000, of which we have used a far-fetched figure. What I could have used is actually a 10,000. If I use 10,000, that would be 10,000, 10k multiplied by 6, that should be 60,000 plus 7,000, that gives us 67,000. Are we together? That is approximately what you get. Let's even work with this figure of 79,000. Okay, now if we work with the figure of 79,000, that's what you get each and every month. Then of course here in Kenya you have to pay taxes, you have to pay some other what maybe perhaps you are far from where you have actually built your rentals, so probably you're gonna float those houses to your agents and what have you. That 9,000 you're seeing on top there, then call it, maybe that is what we call the taxes and what have you. So you are remaining with a clean 70,000 at the end of the month. That is approximately 10%. That is approximately 10%. Now, here you are. Let's get into the money market fund. So if you pick yourself an MMF, all right, so the renter's gonna give you this. So let's agree, renter's gonna give you that. So if you pick an MMF, approximately MMF in Kenya gives you approximately of 10 to 15%. At times can be more, but let's just work with these average figures. And of course, if you pick maybe the one that giving you 14% or something of sort, then after the taxes, because the taxes has to be there, which is 15% on the interest, there must be a management fee from the company that you're investing with, because obviously they have to make money, they're in business. So if you do all those deductions, this interest can actually go all the way to something like 12%. Let's give it a 12%. Okay, so if you give it a 12%, now, guess what happens now? So we have invested ourselves 7 million into that particular investment, and we are getting an approximate of 12%. So what is 12% of 7 million? And I've got my calculator here. Take your calculator, we go step by step, because I said we are getting practical. So we're gonna take 12, which is 0.12 multiplied by 7 million. Okay, 7 million gonna give us 840,000 Kenyan shilling. 840,000. That is per year or per annum. Then we want to know exactly how much this is as far as the month is concerned. So we simply divide that figure by 12. If we divide that by 12, gonna give us 70,000. That is exactly what we're gonna get. So if we go the money market fund way, we're gonna get the 70,000. We go the rentals way, we get the 70,000. I know you're like, oh my goodness, we are getting to the stalemate. Yes, kind of looks like a stalemate, but the fact is that is exactly what you get. Now, the question is this, because we were comparing and contracting the two things. Yeah. Now here we are. Let's start here. Let's do a very simple thing. This is your rentals, right? And this is your money market fund. All right. Both of them in terms of the returns. Let's say returns here, 70K. Returns here, they are giving you 70K. Now, since we are getting equivalence in terms of the returns, we go ahead and consider some other factors. For instance, let's talk about the rate of appreciation. Okay, the rate of appreciation here, the rentals in Kenya appreciates at a rate. Let me ask a very simple question if you're a Kenyan. When was after how long was your rent increased? Would you believe if I tell you, you can actually rent a place, live in that particular place for the next 4, even 5 years. Let's say you started paying 10,000 and it's still 10,000. How many can agree with me? Has never increased, just the same. Would you believe if I tell you the rental increase in Kenya, it is not even it's not even 3%. It is not even 4%. It is way. What actually really appreciate, maybe let's say it's the value of that particular property that you're having, the land. The land appreciates, that's very sure. And in Kenya, the land appreciates at a rate of 7%. And if a crazy thing happens, maybe let's say 7 to 10%, hardly goes beyond the 10%. It's 7 to 10%. Are we together? So the value of the land that you bought at 2 million, so it is increasing at a rate of 7%. And we are so much generous on these figures, giving it at 7%. Therefore, it means you're going to get something, of course, at the end of the, maybe after 1 year, you're going to get yourself approximately, say, maybe 2.1 if it goes far much, maybe after 1 year, maybe 2.2 after 2 years, 2.32, just like that. But when it comes to the rental increase, there's no way somebody can rent your house and then after 1 year you tell them, hey, guess what? We started by 12,000. Now go ahead and start paying me, say, 14,000. Hardly can it happen. It takes time, unless maybe you renovate, you upgrade, you do all those kind of things. Okay, now here you are. So the rate of increase, the rate of appreciation approximately here in terms of the rent. I did not calculate in terms of the land, or we can just give it a rough figure because the land is appreciating and the rent is as well appreciating. Let's give it a rough figure of approximately, say, 4%. Okay, and the rate of appreciation here, of course, we are talking about 12%. Yes, sometimes it can go down, maybe up to 10, but as well has the chances of even up going to 15%. Okay, now the other thing, there's something called moving parts. Moving parts. This one has a lot of them. What do I mean? These places you have to call, maybe say, maybe your agent, maybe you have to call your tenants, maybe you have to, like, it's almost like a business. You really need to engage, looking forward and finding out whatever and what have you. It has a movie repairs, you need to do repairs and what have you. This one has less of moving parts. The other thing here, we have assumed 100% occupancy. We have assumed 100% occupancy throughout the year. No repairs, no nothing. Nobody disturbing you paying your rent, and everyone is paying in time. And of course, we know definitely that does not happen. Are we together? For this case matter, you do nothing. You do nothing about it. Okay? You just put your money out there. You look at it. 7K comes in. You've not called nobody. Nothing like late payment and something of sort. So when you compare these two things, might give you the equivalence in terms of the returns, but again, it depends with your personality. Which one would you go for? Maybe you are too busy, you can go for this. And again, this one, hard liquidity, it's liquid. What do I mean? The moment you take your 7 million and build your rentals, you don't have the money, that's for sure. If you want back your 7 million, unless you sell the entire structure, and you can imagine how long it can take to find somebody who can buy the entire structure of your 7 million. It takes time. I'm not saying it cannot be solid. It can. It's possible, very much possible. But of course, it takes time compared to a money market fund. Money market fund, if you want to withdraw your 7 million tomorrow morning, you get your 7 million done. This is like having this. This is like having the money with you and it's still giving you the 70,000, of which is equivalent to this one. So what happens is that now, of course, this is a hard asset. This is a soft asset. Are we together? And of course, which one gives you more ego? Of course, this one gives you more ego. and this one gives you less ego. What do I mean by less ego? Like, let's say you're this kind of an individual who would like to show people that you're becoming successful, you know, you want to show physical structures and what have you. If I have a money market fund, you cannot even know. You can't, unless I tell you I have a money market fund and I go ahead and show you literally, indeed, I have a money market fund. Like, you really need to explain yourself, proving to people that you're getting, you get what I'm saying? If you're the kind of an individual, you know, you'd love to, you know, show people and you are so touchy, you love to see things and what have you. Then from this matter, of course, when you build and then you call it by your name, there is that ego thing that comes in. You know, you feel like I've built, especially if you're a man, you know, men know what I'm talking about. You know, it gives you that, you know, yeah, I'm a man, I've built, I've done this is mine, it's a physical thing. But when you have a bill somewhere, when you have a money market fund somewhere, unless you explain to people that why you have not, I bet you guys you can understand. So I'm not brushing telling you which one is far much better. I'm actually breaking all these numbers. But let me tell you one secret. That was a very special case, of course. But if you use the figures of 10,000, we're going to get ourselves 67,000. 67,000, we deduct the taxes, and what if you go back to 60,000? Would you believe if I tell you, and for those who have built some rentals, tell me how much you've invested and how much you get as your rent. Some of these returns from the rentals are actually way below compared to that what you're getting from an MMF. So the case is, at all the time, is good to compare and contrast. Ask yourself about the personalities, what you want, what you need, so that you can compare and contrast and see which one is actually befitting you. But if you ask me, so the question is, I know I should have answered, or I should answer by the end of this video, which one would you go for? It depends on who you are and what you want. If you ask me, I would say go for both of them if you can manage. Have yourself a money market fund, have yourself a rental if you are in a position to do that. Because these two things, these are two different vehicles. This is like a truck and this is like a car. You know, both of them are important. If you want to go for a meeting, you can't go with a truck. Of course, you need a car. If you want to carry some loads, of course, you can't carry with a car. You need a truck. So both of them are important. But if you are caught in between, you really don't know. Let's say you are a young individual. If you're a young individual, when I say young, I'm talking about from 20 to 35 or thereabout. Concentrate on where you are having for more financial muscle. Look forward on how you can grow this money as much as you can, because a time will come when you don't have the energy and time. Your risk, we call it what? I forgot the name. You know, that kind of a risk, you know, you have less of a risk, you have less of what you can actually, you know, put it into a risk out there. So focus on growing a lot if you're young, and when you are old, you can transition to more stable things like the rentals and what have you. I hope I was fair on that video. If I was, then leave me a comment on the comment section. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one. And by the way, don't forget, if you'd like to get a hold of me, my number is always on the description of this specific video, as well as my email. See you in the next one.